Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Amanda Weissman, and tonight I have the pleasure of interviewing Nick Lee, a Nittany Lion Wrestling Club and Team USA athlete, and the CEO and founder of Wakinyan. Nick, thanks for joining us tonight.
Absolutely.
So the first thing on my mind is obviously being a Team USA athlete. That is incredible, and I was just wondering if anything led you to this opportunity from being a former Penn State wrestler.
Sure. We have a lot of former Penn State wrestlers that are part of Team USA right now that I get to see and wrestle with and train with every day. David Taylor, Zane Rutherford, and now myself. And we all compete for Team USA wrestling. So it's kind of like back to the college days. But Penn State being, the premier wrestling program in the country tends to put out a lot of international level competitors. And right now, I don't think it's too far of a stretch to say, we have the best wrestling program in the world.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So then the Team USA, how does that differ from the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club?
Yeah, so one thing that a lot of people don't know is after college, wrestlers will go and wrestle for the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club if they want to stick around state college. And that works off donations. It's a nonprofit, so people can donate, and that does benefit the college wrestling program here. And then whenever you're wrestling for the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club, you're essentially wrestling in both international and domestic tournaments and competitions while you're pursuing teams like national teams, Team USA. We have some wrestlers that wrestle for Team Mexico. I'm sure we've had other wrestlers wrestle for other teams as well. And so you're pursuing those national teams. And then once you're on Team USA, you're still training with the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club, but you're competing in a Team USA capacity at international tournaments. And like most recently, we were at the World Championships in Serbia.
Wow, I did actually see that. That
Yeah.
was incredible. That must have been such a crazy opportunity. Have any other opportunities come out of this wrestling, such as influencing? I see what you're wearing right
Yes,
now,
that's
but
right.
you want to speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. There's a lot of opportunities that come, obviously, whenever you reach high levels of athletics. Influencing in particular, I would say it's more, I don't know if influencing is the word for me necessarily, I would say more promoting. So I signed a deal with ASICS, so I promote their wrestling shoes and apparel. Obviously, I started my own apparel company as well a little bit before that. ASICS is a little bit bigger, but yeah, so there's definitely all kinds of opportunities. People, whenever you're finding success in athletics, they want to know what you're doing, what you're wearing, they want to know what you're eating, that kind of stuff, because they want to also, find that success. And so what I've tried to do is use my position to try to promote things that I think will help others find success the way I have.
Definitely. I know you also have your own podcast too. So do you ever speak about different things like this, kind of maybe advising either future wrestlers or current wrestlers?
Sure. Yeah, for my podcast, there is a lot of wrestlers on, and I'll have other people on as well that aren't wrestlers. It's slowed down a little bit with our competition schedule, but generally what I try to do with that is I try to talk to people that I'm interested in, or I'm interested in what they're doing, and that's more, interest for me. But then obviously whenever I have wrestlers on, we're going to talk a lot about wrestling stuff. We'll talk about faith. We'll talk about, anything that is consequential in our lives, and all of that will eventually feed into, athletics and competition and performance.
So I guess either maybe personal or what you've learned from someone else being on the podcast. Is there any advice you maybe offer anyone?
Yeah, I think kind of, or I would say for either wrestlers, people who are competitors in anything, or people who are diving into social media in a social media dominated world, I would say find something that you're good at and you enjoy. Obviously enjoy wrestling, and it's also something that I'm good at. And so all of my opportunities are going to kind of flow from that. And my social media is also going to flow from that as well. And so if you're looking to be a quote unquote influencer, or you're looking to make a wave in some particular space, make sure it's something that you enjoy, right? That would be my advice, I would say, especially with younger people coming up now. I feel like no one wants to be a doctor anymore. Everyone wants to be like a TikTok star, which is fine. But just make sure that you're finding success or finding your interest in some area, and then taking that and translating it to social media or any other things that you're doing.
How do you make time for all of these different things that you enjoy?
I don't know. I think time isn't as much of an issue as energy is. Obviously, I'm training full time, so that's taking a lot of my energy. But I'm no longer in classes. I graduated almost 2 years ago now, so I don't have to go to class. I did go to class every day before that, but but yeah, I mean, finding the time isn't as hard as finding the energy. I do forget a lot of things, but I think if you're enjoying something and you want to do something, you find the time to do it.
Yeah, no, I couldn't honestly agree more with that.
Yeah.
And it also kind of leads me to the next kind of question about your brand itself. So Wakinyan, how were you able to, obviously you didn't start this right now,
No.
but during when you probably had a lot more also going on,
Yeah.
how were you able to find the time to do that?
Yeah, so I started Wakinyan right after college, and I was at a place where I didn't have classes, and I was looking for a way to kind of grow my personal brand while also kind of grow, what message I was putting out. And at the same time, I am at heart an entrepreneur, a businessman, and I wanted to do something like that. So I said, okay, well, I know something about fitness apparel. I spend almost every waking hour in fitness apparel. So I think that's something that I could go for. And so I started doing a little bit of research here and there. And I found out, okay, I think this is something that I could do. And there were a lot of roadblocks, but at the end of the day, I figured out and now I run I would say mildly successful e-commerce business. And it was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot, and I'm sure that's not going to be the end of my, business adventures.
Most definitely.
Yeah, but people can go if they're interested in ordering something. Wakinyan.store. That's WAKINYAN.store, and we have a mix of everything for everybody.
Most definitely. Well, they'll definitely be taking a look at that store. But seriously, thank you so much for coming in tonight. Really cannot appreciate it anymore. And thank you for telling us about your wrestling experience as well. Now stick around because coming up next, Mariana and Courtney will have the latest news from across the nation.